Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, The Power is Mine, and Happy New Year. So, we're getting into this new year, and I know a lot of people are making resolutions. I know a lot of people are saying they're going to turn their life around. But, y'all, we have so many resolutions that we put out there, but where is the execution? Because I've definitely seen so many people say at the beginning of the year, get the countdown done. We're on the first, we're on the second. And they're like, I'm going to be a completely different person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the gym more. I'm going to work towards my goals. I'm going to be a kinder person. I'm going to be greater at this. I'm going to pick up a new language. I'm going to do all this other stuff. So many resolutions, but then eventually after maybe January or even half of January, they're not doing this stuff as much, or they've just given up completely and altogether. So we have to make sure that within this new year, within life in general, because you don't have to wait for the 31st of the end of whatever year you're in to start making resolutions, to start becoming a different person, to start executing on the plan that you want for your life. Because at the end of the day, we have to take accountability for exactly who we are. After a certain point, you can no longer blame family. You can no longer blame whatever job you're working. You can no longer blame where you're from and how your childhood was. You have to pick up and say, I'm going to create a different life for myself. I'm going to become somebody completely different than I even know how to. I'm going to have to start looking into different things so I could become different things. I'm going to take that time to learn that new language. I'm going to take that time to learn that new skill. I'm going to take that time to try to figure out how I can make money towards what I want to do, or how I can build the future that I want, how I can build the company that I want to have. After a while, it's nobody else's fault that you're living the life you're living. You have to take responsibility for the life that you're living. You have to understand that nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. So we're getting into this new year. And I think the biggest thing that a lot of people need to know is that it doesn't take as much time as you think it does. Honestly. And I've seen it happen for me. I've seen that things that I wanted to accomplish, I could get them done in half the time if I gave it more intensity. And everything can't take intensity. And that's a big lesson that I'm learning lately, because sometimes when you're so used to applying so much effort to something and getting it done, and then you go into other things and you realize this thing is something that needs to be grown over time. This is something that needs to be sustainable. This is not something that can happen overnight. It could kind of give you a little bit of a shift in your mind. But whether you believe it or not, I've seen it happen. You can get things done in half the time. The right things. Some things need time. But you can change your life in a matter of months. You can literally decide, okay, I want this to happen. We'll use the example of, I don't know about language, because language is a difficult thing to apply. But we'll use the example of, I want to be able to save this amount of money, right? I feel like that's the easiest thing that I could use as an example. So I want to save this amount of money. What's the first thing that you do? You set forth an action plan. And not just write it down and throw it in to like a filing cabinet somewhere and then hope that it's going to come true. Manifestation is real. Manifestation can work. You can pray and pray and pray and pray and pray all you want. But faith without works is dead. You have to put action forth. That's why I say an action plan. You have to become what you want to become through your actions, through your efforts. So the first thing that you need to do is write everything down and make it as detailed as possible. And then you execute on your plan. And every day isn't going to be the same. Every day it isn't going to be as easy. It isn't going to be as like it can flow with your everyday schedule, or if you got a job, if you got kids, if you have responsibilities. It's not always going to be easy to work on this action plan. But if you keep coming back to it, if you keep putting in effort, if you keep making sure that you're doing it, if you say, I do it now, if you stop allowing yourself to procrastinate, if you step out of your comfort zone, You can change your life in a matter of months, whether you believe it or not. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. I've done it multiple times. You can change your life in a matter of months. A goal takes as long as you want it to take. If you say something is going to take 2 years, if you say something is going to take 20 years, if you say something is going to take 2 months, it's going to take as long as you want it to take. I've watched it happen. So don't just write down your resolutions and just pray and manifest over and hope it'll happen. Yeah, sometimes you can pray over stuff and it comes to you. But sometimes you got to get up and you got to do the work. And what do you think is a better thing? Intensity or consistency? Now, I've seen that my intensity has gotten me to different levels, has gotten me to be considered a high achiever. It's gotten things accomplished in half the time that I thought that could have gotten them done. But intensity isn't always the best thing. Sometimes it's the mundane. Sometimes the magic is in the mundane. The getting up and doing something boring every single day. Doing something repetitive every single day. Doing something small every single day. And that can amount to something as well. So, all depending on what the goal is or what you want to achieve, you can get there by applying a lot of intensity, but some things need consistency. And that's where you become a different person. That's where you realize who you are and what you need to change and what you can make better about yourself. Because it's easy to just run it up, and become something different for a short amount of time. Set those resolutions. Go to the gym at 5 a.m. for a few months. And then what happens when it's no longer a dopamine hit? What happens when you no longer feel comfortable doing it? You no longer feel like, oh, I don't really care. I'm not seeing the results. That's where consistency comes in. That's where not burning out and doing so much comes in. Sometimes it's the small, boring things that you do every single day or every single week, every single month that will amount to the change in a year, right? And habits breed change. Sometimes you don't get what you deserve. You get what is the result of the habits that you have. If you're consistently eating unhealthy, you're not working out, you're laying in the bed to watch Netflix all the time, you're not getting up and active, you're not trying to do things, you're not trying to be in environments that change your mental capacity, you're not trying to surround yourself with friends that can push you to thrive and be better, you will become an amalgamation of your habits. Sometimes we don't get what we deserve. We get what we worked for. We get who we are. And do you want to reach the end? And it's not really the end until you die, to be honest. And if it's one thing that's guaranteed in this life is death. But do you want to reach a certain point in your life where you look and you say, I got exactly what I deserved. I am looking at a life based off of my habits. I didn't do anything to deserve a life any different. I didn't decide to get up and work out. I didn't decide to study a little bit more. I didn't decide to stay in and learn a new skill. I didn't decide to go out to that motivational conference or watch those motivational videos on Instagram. I decided to watch World Star all the time. I decided to go to the bar all the time. I didn't decide to see something outside of my norm and travel a little bit more, save a little bit more money towards becoming something different. I am exactly who I decided to be. I am exactly what I worked for, which is nothing. And that's where I say envy is a slippery slope. I truly and honestly feel like jealousy is a human emotion, but you have to be able to go within yourself and say, why am I feeling what I'm feeling towards this person right now? But envy is something serious, because envy is, I want what I didn't work for. I want what I don't deserve. That person does not deserve that, and I deserve it. But they worked hard for it, even though I might not have seen the efforts that they put in. I deserve it more. because I just exist. Be fucking for real. Like, be oh so serious. I'm sorry, but be serious. Like, at the end of the day, we can feel like we want better, we deserve better. But if you're not working for it, how the hell you think you're supposed to get it? Why you think you deserve it over the next person? You don't know the work they put in. You don't know the struggle that they've had. You don't know the life that they've lived. You don't know who they really are. And most of the time, who we really are is who you are in private, not in public, when people can see you, when people know what you're doing, what you got going on. Who are you truly? What makes you think you deserve something over the next person? Especially if you're not willing to put in the work. You're not executing. You're not creating the life that you want. You're sitting back and hoping that it gets handed to you. And that's where I believe that manifestation is a beautiful thing. Manifestation is true. But are you not going to work for it? Are you not going to believe that you have to get up and do something for it? You think your looks or your environment, the people you know, is why you're supposed to have what you have over the next person? Be fucking for real. Be so serious. Habits breed change. Habits are going to make way for the life that you want. Don't think that stuff is just going to be handed to you. Come on now. And comfort is honestly the enemy of progress. I feel like we want comfort, we want joy, we want happiness, we want peace all the time. But sometimes life has to get a little rocky. You have to learn these lessons. There is unavoidable suffering and there is avoidable suffering. Some stuff you have to go through. Some stuff you do not have to go through. But if you do not experience certain things, you will never learn and feel and be able to be empathetic and have the capacity to understand that these things have to happen to make me who I am. Life is not going to be easy all the time. Life is not perfect. And you cannot control all of your outcomes, but you could damn sure put your best foot forward and hope for the best and work for the best. I remember being a kid and going through things. And all I ever prayed for was, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable. There were people around me that were like, I want to be a billionaire. I want to make so much money. I just want to have all the money in the world. I want to have money. I want to have money. But then and even now, I know that money don't buy happiness, but get you pretty damn close. But also, comfort is the enemy of progress. Being comfortable gets you nowhere. Laying in your bed all day gets you nowhere. You have to get up when you don't want to and go to the gym. You have to get up when you don't want to and study. You have to get up when you don't want to and figure something out for your life. Comfort will not get you nowhere. Even though it feels pretty damn good. But what are you striving for? What are you trying to achieve? After a certain point, you only need but so much to be comfortable. So what is the thing that's the driving force after that? Who do you want to become? How do you want to change the world? What do you want your legacy to be? And my legacy isn't even necessarily what I want people to think of me when I pass away. It's what effect I had on the world. How did I change the world? And the older I get and the more that I experience and the more that I see, I realize the world is a pretty evil place. But I could try my damn hardest to make it as best I can or have whatever influence on it that I can. Become the difference, become the change that I want to see. And that is not going to be created from comfort. Sadly. So no one can give you the future that you want. I can't buy a legacy. I can't manufacture it. That's when they start talking about you're a plant or something. I can't buy things that I want. I have to work damn hard for them. I can't sit down and manifest it. I have to get up and meet God halfway. I have to be willing to put in the work. I have to be willing to say, this is not enough. I have to be grateful for what I have, but greedy enough to want more. I have to create the future that I want, and no one can give it to me. Entitlement and envy is the most disgusting thing in this life that I've come to learn. Because how dare you say that you deserve something without putting in the work? How dare you say that somebody else shouldn't have something and you should. And you haven't done what they've done. You haven't been through what they've been through. You don't know their true heart, their true intentions, what God has planned for them. You don't even know what God has planned for you, and you worried about the next person. So we can write and we can plan, we can resolve to be this different person, but put in the work. Execute. Become who you want to become. Don't expect it to be handed to you. Don't be, oh, I look like this. Why shouldn't I get that? What does it have to do with looks? What does it have to do where you grew up? What does it have to do with skin tone? What does it have to do with the length of your hair? The way your body is shaped? It has nothing to do with it. Who are you? What work are you willing to do to become what you want to become? To learn that language. To build that business. To lose that weight. To be a better mom. To be a better spouse. To be a better friend. To build a name for yourself in an industry. To break down a wall and create a new solution for the industry. Do you deserve it? Are you willing to work for it? That's the question you should be asking. That's what you should be doing.